one of the things that I noticed happening is a change in the frequency. Now, why is that important? Well, it was a change of a frequency that got us to this point. To create the temporal anomaly, to create the low energy level we're at, things had to slow down. It included the speed of light, and in slowing down the speed of light and that principle, it created a perceptual slowdown in what we think of as time. But basically it is a change in frequency. And since frequency is measured in time, we are in a lower frequency, so therefore times had to slow down also. However, what is happening right now is slowly that frequency is increasing. Now this has been measured by an increase in the Schumann resonance. Now this is not going to happen all at once. We have to be generally comfortable with this. However, that increase in frequency is having an effect, whereby before, those who think they rule, or more accurately, those that most people believe rule this place, however, they in truth, they already know that they have no control and that this is going according to a designed process. However, most of us think that they're bad men that came here and modified and created all of this stuff, and they're controlling us, and there's, like reptilian aliens living under DIA, and all they want is bad things. You have to be comfortable with the fact that all things obey the law, and they are made to do exactly what they're made to do, and you're made to do exactly what you're made to do, and all is as it should be. So as this frequency starts increasing, it is going to have a tremendous effect on what you are, your body, specifically your DNA. And you're going to return back to what you started as. Our devices, these flesh suits, when we get to 64-bit, when we get to 64 cordons of our DNA being switched on, because right now we only have 22, we're seeing things in blindness. When your tool's switched on, your capability will be considerably more potent. However, in order to exist in duality, we don't want powerful beings with no responsibility running roughshod across the universe, creating problems for everything, totally uncontained. So the quarantine is important, okay, and it's for our protection. Now, as that quarantine starts coming off, we start waking up to what we are. We start becoming competent to hold contract. Until fairly recently, most of mankind was presumed to be insane. Since they were insane, they were presumed to be incompetent and unable to hold contract. Well, why is that important? Well, you're irresponsible. If you're irresponsible, then something else has or somebody else has responsibility over you. The construct that was selected initially was something called divine right, where select people were given over as stewards for, the general population who were incompetent or insane. So these people have been, being responsible for us. We call them the sovereigns. The Pope, for instance, he knows full well that most of the people out there are confused. While you're confused, you can't hold contract. It requires him to exercise care over the insane, such that that they're for the most part protected. However, a strange thing about being insane is they'll do anything, and a lot of the times it ends up destroying their flesh suits, and that's just destructive testing. That happens. We just have to be thankful that consciousness isn't lost, and nothing that they've lost is lost to us. Everything is remembered, will be documented. Nothing's forgotten. It doesn't go anywhere, except we can't know that it's still there because of the way the universe is constructed. So the change in frequency is going to move our consciousness into a higher state. The effect on the periodic table of elements is going to be fairly profound. Science right now doesn't quite understand exactly what they're looking at. Technically, atoms comprised of protons, neutrons, and electrons are empty space. You can look at it more closely as organized nothing, or let's just say a very complex thought. What happens is you have a medium. We call that maybe the unified field, or the Planck's field, or the quantum field. That sound actually creates certain behaviors and separations of those fields, such that they will settle out as what we perceive as particles and waveforms. But it's technically sound. It's sound that we can't hear because we don't have the tools to hear it. We have a very narrow range of sound. So as sound acts on the quantum field, it creates a certain effect on the quantum field such that we can detect with the senses that we have and with the tools that we have, and it starts separating matter into very distinct components. And we look at the periodic table and we say, okay, yeah, we call this an element. Well, that element actually sits in a particular harmonic position. So what you're looking at is music. When you look at the periodic table, you're looking at a musical scale, or the effect of music on the quantum field. Now, as our frequency increases, that musical scale will shift up. The effect that it's going to have on things that we call atoms, and specifically our carbon atom, is going to be fairly profound. And that is, right now, carbon is stable at 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. Oh, 666. Wow. They call it the number of the beast. Oh, well, wow, isn't it strange that the beast is constructed and its lattice is primarily a carbon, which has 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. Now, there are other forms of carbon. Normal carbon is carbon-12. It has 6 protons, 6 neutrons, giving it an atomic weight of 12 atomic mass units. Another form of carbon is carbon-14, which has 2 extra neutrons, giving it a total of 6 protons and 8 neutrons, and that's carbon-14. That one is not stable. It will actually decay, and I believe it decays into a nitrogen molecule, plus some extraneous things. However, when we start moving to the new frequency, there will be a new carbon called carbon-13. Lucky 13. If you look at your dollar bill, it's just filled with 13s, and that will be our lucky number.